we are going to discuss about these things. Why did people travel? The next, name of land. Then manuscript. In the last session, we also discussed two topics. They are what did we know about the past? Then where did people live? In that part, we said many cities flourished on the banks of rivers. Not only cities, some kingdoms also flourished on the banks of rivers. Magadha is such an example. In ancient times, the area along the rivers to the south of Ganga was known as Magadha. So, where was Magadha? Or where is Magadha? Magadha was on the banks of river Ganga. Now it is lying in the state of Bihar. Now the Magadha is lying in the state of Bihar. Its rulers were very powerful and set a large kingdom. The rulers of Magadha was very powerful and they set up a large or a huge kingdom. So what we said? We said Magadha is one of the large kingdom which flourished on the banks of river Ganga. And the rulers in Magadha were very powerful and they set up a large kingdom. Then look at the picture. In this picture we can see the river Ganga and the kingdom Magadha. Then after settling down, the people started to move from one place to another. People travel one place to another because of many reasons. First one, we can say common men moved in search of livelihood and to escape from the natural disasters like flood, droughts, etc. The first reason, common men traveled from one place to another in search of livelihood and to escape from the natural disasters. Look at the picture. In the picture, it is clear that they are traveling from one place to another. The next one, the army men traveled to conquer lands. What's the second one? The army men traveled to conquer the lands. Then the merchants traveled to collect valuable goods from different places. And they used the caravans and ships for their travel. But we said merchants traveled to collect the valuable goods from place to place and they used caravans and ships for their traveling. And the next reason, the religious teachers, they worked to offer the instructions and advice. The religious teachers traveled or worked to offer the instructions and advice to the people. The next, some of them traveled to conquer new and exciting places. Some people traveled to conquer or to discover exciting places. So, what were the reasons? First we said the common men traveled in search of livelihood and to escape from the natural disasters. Then we said army men, they traveled to conquer the lands and the merchants traveled to collect their valuable goods. And then we said some people traveled to discover exciting places. We know that hills, mountains and seas form a natural frontier of our subcontinent. What we said? We said hills, mountains, seas are formed a natural frontier to our subcontinent. Even though it was very difficult to cross that natural frontiers, then also people came to our land and settled down here. And this movement of people from one place to another enriched our cultural traditions. And this movement helped to enrich our cultural traditions. the movements of people from one place to another. And they also share their ideas to each other. And they also share their ideas to each other. The next part is how our India or our nation got that names. We knew that our nation has two names, which are they? India and Bharat. India, the word comes from the Indus River. The word India comes from the Indus River. It is called Sindhu in Sanskrit. The river Indus is called Sindhu in Sanskrit. Iranians and Greeks were familiar with the Indus River and they called it as Hindus or Indus. Who called? The Iranians and Greeks. They are familiar with the Indus River and they called it as Hindus or Indus. And also the land to the east of the Indus River is called as India. The land on the east of the Indus River is called as India. So, did you understood? So, did you understand how our India got that name? Once more, I am repeating. The word India comes from the Indus River and it is called Sindhu in Sanskrit. Iranians and Greeks were familiar with this river and they called it as Hindus or Indus. And the land to the east of the Indus River is called as India. And the next one, how did we get the name Bharata? Bharata was used in Rigveda. Bharata was used in Rigveda. It is used to indicate a group of people who lived in the northwest. It is used to indicate the group of people who lived in northwest. Later, it is used for a country. Later, it is used for our country. So, we said the name Bharata is used in Rigveda and it is used to indicate the people who lived in the northwest. After that, our country got that name Bharata. And this is the way our nation got that two names. The next one, how we can find out about the past. We already discussed what we can know about past. Next one, where did people live? And the next question, how we can find out about the past. There are several ways to find out about the past. What is to search for or read books that were written long ago? What's the first method? To search for and read the books were written long ago. This book is called manuscript. This book is called manuscript because it is written by hand. Why did that book is known as manuscript? Why did that book is known as manuscript? Because it written by hand. The word manuscript came from Latin word. The word manuscript came from Latin word. Manu meaning hand. The word manu meaning hand. So the manuscript means the books written by hand. The book written by hand. These were usually written on the palm leaf or the specially prepared bark of the tree known as brish. These manuscripts were usually written on palm leaf or the bark of brish. The brish grown on Himalaya. The brish grown in Himalaya areas. So what we said about manuscript? The word manuscript came from Latin word and the manu means hand. So the manuscript means the book written by hand. The book written by hand. Many manuscripts were eaten away by insects. Many manuscripts were eaten away by insects and some of them destroyed and some of them were destroyed. But many have survived because they are often preserved in the temples and monasteries. May be said many manuscripts were destroyed and eaten by inside because it's usually written on paragraphs. And but some manuscripts were preserved in temples, but some manuscripts were preserved in temples. Look at the picture. This is a picture of manuscript on pamphlets and bark. And this book or this manuscript dealt with all kinds of subjects like the religious beliefs, the lives of kings, medicines and science, poems, plays, etc. What are the things which dealt with manuscript? What are the things which dealt with manuscript? Religious beliefs, lives of kings, medicines and science, then poems, plays, etc. And the language used to write the manuscript were Sanskrit, Pali and Tamil. Which are they? Sanskrit, Pali and Tamil. Pali were the common language of people or common people. Pali is the language of common people. It is said manuscript is the book which people used to know about the past. Manuscript written by hand. And we dealt so many subjects in manuscript. They were religious beliefs, lives of kings, poems, plays, etc. And the language used were Sanskrit, Tamil and Pali. So, what are things we studied in this session? First we said, why did people travel? Why did people travel from one place to another? There are so many reasons we already said. Then, we studied how did our nation got that name? How did our nation get that name? Then we discussed about manuscript. Students, hope you understood. We can move to our assignment. Our first question, why did people travel from one place to another? Second, define manuscript. Second, design manuscript. Hope you understood today's lesson. We can meet in next session. Till then, bye.